The Brew House was created to capture and share with you the long history of the Genesee Brewery. But the brewery itself isn't half as interesting as the beer and the people who make it. Visit GeneseeBrewHouse.com. Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Rochester Press Box presented by the Genesee Brew House. Glad you're with us. I'm Bill Pucko, and a pleasure to be joined by JC DeLass, WYSL.
Thank you.
Back in the booth, along with our co-host, Mike Catalana and Pat Duffy. A lot of Buffalo Bills talk this week. I was personally caught kind of off guard before the Pittsburgh game that all of a sudden it was all this talk about firing Rex Ryan. So where did this come from, and where do you think it leads?
Well, it came from a guy who's not afraid to put out stuff that may or may not be true, internet, Twitter, all that stuff. Where it leads, Bill, I mean, a lot of conversation, as you said, during the game, but after the game, and now this week leading into this game, the conversations with Rex and gets everybody fired up. Hey, they're out of the playoffs. I know mathematically, forget about that. They're out of the playoffs. So now you start talking about next year. And is 9-7, they win these last three games, is 9-7 going to be good enough to save Rex's job? I think it is. I think you blow it up after 2 years, you're right back to the beginning with the Bills. The way how many years now do we have to start all over? They still don't have a quarterback. Tyrod is obviously not the answer. I don't want to hear anybody tell me about Tyrod and all the excuses he has about what receivers and who's hurt and all that crap. Other quarterbacks find a way to get it done. Tyrod's not the guy. But if he's not the guy, who's it going to be? And is a new coach going to fix that? I don't think so.
A lot of people will tell you that wins in those last three games might be the worst thing that could happen here.
Well, it could be because it sets the narrative that he's a guy with a winning record and then you fired him. Look, Rex was brought in here to take the team to the next level. Let me ask you guys, where are they better than they were a couple of years ago? He has decimated the defense. They gave him everything he wanted. They gave him all the coaches. They gave him the draft picks. They gave him players he wanted. They let him get people out the door. And the defense went backwards. And in terms of the quarterback, I agree that Tyrod's going to be gone. Do you want Rex and his staff being the guys who coach up the next quarterback? That's why I think he's in trouble. I said it from the beginning of the year, and I got a lot of grief from people saying maybe it wasn't make the playoffs or be out type of thing put towards Rex at the beginning of the year, but I absolutely believe they wanted to see progress. And winning the last three games against two bad teams and one without the quarterback, to me, doesn't change the fact that this team didn't beat good teams, they didn't come through when they were needed the most, and they have not shown progress going forward. I think he is in major, major, major trouble for keeping his job.
You need to keep Rex one more season, and here's why. If Rex goes, you blow everything up. Kyle Williams is scheduled to make a ton of money next season. He's gone with a new coach. LaShawn McCoy is scheduled to make a ton of money next season. If you're rebuilding again, why are you keeping that guy around? Why are you paying that kind of money for nothing? And you have no quarterback, and the coach you're going to sign is someone you've never heard of before, unless it's Anthony Lynn, who is someone we've never heard of before he took over the offensive coordinator job in week 2. You need to give it one more season based on the guys and the money they're going to make next year, because if you make that move, it's sweeping moves across everything. Robert Woods is gone. Someone's going to pay him. Stephon Gilmore is gone. Someone's going to pay him. I mean, you're talking about, of the 12 stars you have on this team, 6 or 7 of them are gone. What coach that is worth anything would want to walk in and take that job? You almost have to, for the sake of the franchise moving forward, keep Rex for one more season.
We haven't mentioned Doug Whaley yet. If Rex is gone, Doug Whaley has got to be gone. Maybe you get rid of Doug Whaley and keep Rex. I mean, that's an option that may be on the table, too. Pagulas are not going to admit that they made the mistake, and if you believe what you hear, Pagulas hired Rex over Whaley. Where do you go? You're going to bring in another coach, and who are you going to get? Yeah. Like Duff just said here, who's out there that you could possibly get to come into this situation that's going to do any better than Rex next year?
I totally disagree.
I know.
First of all, I will tell you this. Doug Whaley isn't going anywhere. He's going to be the general manager next year. I think you can bring in an offensive-minded coach. This team didn't progress that way. You bring in the right coordinator. To your point about making changes, guys like Robert Woods and Stephon Gilmore are gone anyway, whether Rex is back or not. I think McCoy's going to be back. I think they can do some other things with contracts. I think this team, again, has not shown progress, and that's going to be the issue. I have been told on numerous occasions that the Pagulas really like Doug Whaley and that he is going to stay. They are not blowing up the entire thing. I think they want better coaching. They gave Rex, and Vic Carucci made a great point about this, 27 coaches on his staff. Everything he asked for, and I said this to you guys at the beginning of the year, he wanted his brother on the staff, they gave it to him. He wanted Ed Reed on the staff, they gave it to him. He wanted Catherine Smith on the staff. Everything he wanted, people are like, why would they do that? Well, because they said, Rex, it is yours. Can you tell me it hasn't gone backwards? And I don't think Rex has it in him to fix it. And if you're going to go the route with a new quarterback next year, it's going to be a new head coach. And there are coaches out there, coordinators, and guys who would absolutely take the job and try to move forward with a new quarterback and a new direction.
Last word on the matter.
Just a question. Pagula's like Whaley, so that's why he's staying, and that's it. We don't judge what he's done. We don't.
Absolutely, you judge what he's done.
But I'm saying, you're saying Pagula's like him, so that's the end of the case.
I
that's
think
the end
they
of the story.
believe, from their perspective, that he has done more positive things than negative things, and I believe that the job for him this year was give Rex what he wants, and they did. And who could make the argument that the defense has not taken a step back? And injuries are certainly part of it. I get all that, but has anybody seen progress in that way? And that's why I think Whaley's going to stay, and that's why I think Rex is going to go.
I know you go.
No, I'm with Mike. I mean, if I had to choose between one or the other, I'm taking Whaley over Rex. I just think that you got to give it one more year. The year that you wait here puts your team in a better position, even if you fire Rex the year after.
We got a game to look at. It's the Bills in Cleveland this week. We'll pick it next. The Press Box, brought to you in part by Connors and Ferris, your workers' comp attorneys. Call 262-COMP, C-O-M-P, today. The Buffalo Bills quote of the week was brought to you by the Rochester Geico office. Give the Rochester Geico team a chance to see how much you could save on all your insurance needs. Call or stop by the office on West Henrietta Road, open Monday through Saturday. The Geico Rochester quote of the week, Rex Ryan.
It was awful. It really was awful. I mean, you could almost make an argument that was maybe the worst total game they've played in the 2 years that Rex has been there. And I don't put all the blame on him. Defensively, I just did not see the effort. And offensively, they were lost most of the game. And I felt for McCoy in that game because he was the only one they were worried about stopping in that game. So, whatever phrase he wants to use, it was that bad.
Yeah, this portion of the Rochester Press Box presented by the Genesee Brew House, brought to you by Connors and Ferris. So, we've got a 10.5-point line on this Browns game. And all year long, you've liked both these teams.
I do.
What are you going to do?
The Browns are a team after my heart. Listen, I think the Bills are going to win, but 10.5 points, especially with Robert Griffin III, who is one of these guys that can go off at any moment, right? He's got something to prove at this point. The team now has their back against the wall. I think that everybody in Cleveland believes that if they're going to get a win, it's going to be this week in Buffalo. Yeah. I think the Bills win. I think the Browns cover. Browns cover, Bills win.
We get into that whole Rex Ryan thing. I mean, if they don't beat Cleveland, does he make it to Monday?
Maybe not. Maybe not. I agree right here, 10.5, too much for the Bills. Too much. Bills playing anybody right now. 10.5, awful tough to stick my neck out for that. But I do think they're going to win, of course. I don't think it'll be 10.5. And pick another game. Look at the Atlanta Falcons against San Francisco. They're giving up 2 touchdowns. I think you can give up 4 touchdowns to the 49ers and cover that. I like Falcons a lot this week.
All right, so we have your second pick already. Mike, what do you think of the Bills game?
I think it's going to be tough motivationally for the players to get up in terms of blowing somebody out. The only way it ends up that way is I think if Cleveland just implodes. They're trying. They are desperate. I mean, that is a team that has had some close games. They've had opportunities, and you just will watch them make a mistake. But 10.5 is too much. I say the Bills win it. Rather comfortable game, but the Browns cover.
So we're all on board with the underdog this week. Boy,
that's a lot of points. 10.
That is a lot of points. I'm with you too. What do you got for a second game?
Giants, Lions. Giants getting hot at the right time. It's 5 points for the Lions. Lions, they've won 5 straight. They're due. I think the Giants cover and beat them straight up.
Yeah, that's a fun game. Plus the Detroit quarterback's hurt.
Yeah, I mean, but he's had that finger problem before. That doesn't scare me so much as it's just time. It's time for the Giants to do what they do every year. It's time for the Lions to lose one before they go in.
All right, you got Atlanta already. Who do you like secondary?
I was thinking of taking Baltimore against the Eagles because, that's just a bad matchup for them. But I'm going to go with Tampa Bay getting the points against Dallas. I think Dallas will win another close game, and it's going to be fun to see if Dallas's offense struggles again. What happens?
You guys have got games at least that I'd watch. I'm picking a game that I wouldn't watch. I like the Bears at home against Green Bay. Here's a look at our standings for the NFL Picks Contest, brought to you by Connors and Ferris. My victory is nearly official, it says here. With a 5-game lead, the winner of the contest will have a donation made in his name to Hunter's Hope. This week, Greg Connors, selecting for Connors and Ferris, is going with the Bills to beat the Browns with that 10.5-point spread, and he likes the Patriots over Denver. Well, I'm 19-9. I would not watch that. I would not watch that.
You let him set that up. You let him set that
It's
up.
like an alley-oop.
Your fault.
Well, now I would watch it. This portion of the Rochester Press Box, brought to you by Connors and Ferris, Like It or Not, is next. The Press Box Trivia Question, brought to you by Sleep City. Queen adjustable bed with memory foam mattress, now $977. Save over $500. Shop Rochester's only locally owned mattress store. No pressure, no hassle sales experience. Here's a look at the Press Box Trivia answer, brought to you by Sleep City. Queen adjustable bed with memory foam mattress, now $977. You save over $500. Shop Rochester's only locally owned mattress store. No pressure, no hassle sales experience. See New York in a whole new way. Amtrak is offering a 15% discount for all travel inside New York State and to Montreal. Visit Amtrak.com for the See New York discount. Safe, comfortable, affordable, and easy. Amtrak. Enjoy the journey. Welcome back to the Rochester Press Box, presented by the Genesee Brew House, Like It or Not, brought to you by Amtrak Trains. Enjoy the journey. Like It or Not, Pat, Deflategate 2.
I'm so sick of this stuff. Like, it doesn't matter. That being said, the NFL painted themselves into a corner. Because if you went after Brady the way you did, and it keeps happening on other rosters, well, if you're going to be consistent and look like you're not playing favorites or doing things to alter the competitive balance of the league, you have to do the exact same thing to everybody else. I don't want it to happen, and Goodell's not going to do it, but it makes you look like an amateur, and again, goes along with the theory that Mike has, that everything that's wrong with the NFL is because of Roger Goodell.
Yeah. What football was Roethlisberger using Sunday? I think he might have had a bet on that game.
Well, and the funny thing about it too is that, like, they brought it up because because there were fumbles.
Yeah.
But a deflated football is supposed to be easier to hold. I mean, it was part of the whole thing. I want somebody in the NFL office to say it was just because it's cold out.
Look at the New England homer over here.
We're up in arms about this issue.
We.
JC, like it or not, a Wake Forest radio analyst doing the games for Wake Forest football leaks elements of the playbook to the opposition. Now, you're a guy who does this for a living. You're going to be proud of him, right?
Oh, not at all. This is the worst thing that could happen for anybody that does what I do. This is the worst because football coaches, generally speaking, are the worst to deal with as far as getting information. They're very close-mouthed, close to the vest. They don't like to give out anything. The fact that this guy was as close to the program, he used to play for Wake Forest, he used to coach there, they gave him all that access, and he blew it. And he obviously had an axe to grind. I mean, I get information, but it doesn't even cross my mind that I would talk to the other team about it. It's ludicrous, insane. He's committed career suicide, and he should. That is probably, of all the things you could do as a broadcaster, up near the top of the list.
It's really sad, though. I mean, I was thinking about this with the guy. No, I mean, he got let go by the new coach when he came in. Wake Forest had a terrible program. They have enough issues. But I'm thinking, you let down you had to have friends on that staff. You let down your alma mater. You let down what would have been teammates. You let down your community doing all this. And I don't even know how much anybody would have paid attention to him. It's really, really sad. And I've heard some of the players saying they're hurt because they trusted the guy. It was really just, and I don't even know, like, did really Louisville need the game plan?
It's Wake Forest.
Yeah,
I don't think even if they knew.
It's just pitiful.
Being a very petty, bitter human being, right? Am I going to be the only one that says I could see myself doing this? You guys are all going to lie and say that if you got fired in an unceremonious way, you wouldn't do everything you could to get back at your former
There's
employer?
one thing of doing that and being petty, because we know you're petty, but it's while you're employed by the team
Right.
and they're giving you that access. I mean, that's different than doing it from the outside.
Would you do it for your guys? Let's say you knew something about a team that, let's say you're doing a Nazareth basketball game and you knew the guy got hurt in practice. You knew it. Do you go to your coach?
No, I do not. Honestly, I don't, because that's a bridge that you then burn that you don't know if you have to go back across that bridge someday. I would not. Basketball is a little bit different because I don't think there's as many secrets in basketball.
Yeah.
People tend to know who's hurt and what everybody's running and this. I think football, again, is a separate animal here. And the only disagreement I have with you is they gave him a sweet job. Believe me, doing color for a major college football team is a pretty nice consolation prize after getting bounced off a coaching staff. Some would say it's a better job.
This portion of the Rochester Press Box brought to you by Amtrak Trains. Enjoy the journey. Unfinished Business is next. The Press Box Stat of the Week brought to you by Fiondoc and Fiondoc. Remember, if you've made the wrong choice, it's time to make the right choice. Fiondoc and Fiondoc, New York's DWI leader for over 35 years. Visit nydwi.com. Be noisy, be silent. Be near, be far. Be joyful, be together. Celebrate joy with Dunkin's holiday-flavored coffees, espressos, and donuts. America runs on Dunkin'. Welcome back to the Rochester Press Box, presented by the Genesee Brew House. This is Unfinished Business, brought to you by Dunkin' Donuts. America runs on Dunkin'. The bitter and petty Pat Duffy starts us off.
Let's take a walk down a thing here. Let's say we live in Mike Catalana's fantasy world where he's confident that Rex Ryan gets fired next year. I would like to paint you a little picture, Bills fans. A picture of 90s nostalgia, if you will. Rex is gone, and Tyrod's gone as well, and we need a quarterback and a head coach. So we go the coordinator route. You got to go someone quiet, someone with an offensive mind after what happened. So we go out and we hire Eagles offensive coordinator Frank Reich. Great fit, right? And it's going to sell tickets real fast. But you're not done selling tickets if you're Russ Brandon or GM Doug Whaley. You got to get a quarterback that'll put butts in the seats. I would like to present to you my fantasy. I don't know if it's going to work on the field, but Frank Reich drafting quarterback out of Ole Miss and nephew of Jim Kelly, Chad, to be the project quarterback for the Buffalo Bills. How wonderful for the 3 years. It would only be 3 years because Frank Reich would lose his job and Chad Kelly would not make it out of his rookie contract. But those 3 years of Frank Reich coaching Chad Kelly in Orchard Park in that same throwing motion that Jim won so many games with on Chad. And the ball's going to go into the other team's hands because Chad's no good. But the fact that I'm going to get to buy another jersey with the Kelly name on the back of it, and watch a man who led the greatest comeback in NFL history crash and burn, because that's what happens when you hire no-name coordinators who have never been NFL coaches before. My point is this: if you fire Rex Ryan, this is what you're looking at. One more year and everything is better off. Even if you fire him after the third, relax, keep a calm head, and don't call for this man because you're upset about what happened in Pittsburgh, or you're looking at Chad Kelly and Frank Reich.
Fantasy world.
Well, he's wrong.
JC.
Well, maybe I'm getting cranky at my age. I know my kids think so, but I cannot sit through a college basketball game on television anymore. Too many timeouts, 16, 12, 8 minutes, 4 minutes, plus the timeouts that the coaches can call too. There is no flow to college basketball on TV anymore. They have ruined it. Television has ruined it. And I'm going to say something I never thought I would say, but they should go the way the NBA has. Go to quarters. Women's college basketball now quarters. It is much more interesting to watch, believe it or not. They only take a timeout at 5 minutes in each quarter. There's a better flow to the game. Go to the NBA style quarters in college basketball. You will improve the watchability beyond the level of play right now, but there's just too many timeouts, and I know TV makes the decisions, and this will never happen, and I will stay a cranky old man.
But it seems, common sense has said, if you break it into quarters, you're disrupting the flow even more.
But it seems that way, but it's not, because you have a 5-minute stretch or more of straight basketball with quarters. Right now, it's 4 minutes, 4 minutes, 4 minutes, 4 minutes. It's just stop, start, stop, start, stop, start. I like the quarters because, again, watch the NBA. They're 12-minute quarters, and that game flows. And they still get their TV timeouts in.
Yeah, very good.
He's right.
Excuse
You're
me.
still wrong.
Someone's a little hurt this morning.
All right, now I'm going to make him feel good, and this is for Bill, but this is not what my intention is. Tom Brady was interviewed this week, and he talked about his career as they were getting ready for their Monday night game, and they beat the Ravens. And he reiterated again he would like to play until he's 45. And he said this a few years ago, and he said it again last year, and everybody sort of took it as a joke. But right now, he is playing at the best level, statistically the best level he ever had. And here's the key thing with Brady. He said, the process has gotten easier for me. Now, don't take that the wrong way. He's not saying the game has gotten easier. He says the process, the way he prepares, the way he works with the rest of his players, the way he works with the coaching staff. He's so good at it, so aware of it, and it has worked so well for him. I actually think it is realistic. You look at the other quarterbacks around the league, look at what happened to Peyton Manning and injuries and the way his career went down, and guys like Tony Romo, even Eli Manning, who hasn't been hurt, but you can see the difference in play. It hasn't happened with Brady, and it doesn't look like it's going to happen, and he still has the desire to play, and I think he could do it. I'm sorry, but we may have to be putting up with him for a long time.
I love Tom Brady.
Oh, I know
I
you do.
absolutely love the guy.
Look at Marsha Brady over here.
This portion of the Rochester Press Box Unfinished Business brought to you by Dunkin' Donuts. America runs on Dunkin'. JC, thanks very much.
Thank you.
Guys, good job as always.
Yep.
Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week for the Rochester Press Box.